Bad things happen in all businesses. Goods are not delivered, products fail to perform as expected, service is poor, billing gets fouled up, and customers are misunderstood. You may have to write messages declining proposals, explaining service outages, describing data breaches, refusing requests for donations, turning down invitations, or responding to unhappy customers. You might have to apologize for mistakes in orders or pricing, the rudeness of other employees, overlooked appointments, defective products, or jumbled instructions. As a company representative, you may have to respond to complaints posted for the world to see on Twitter, Facebook, or complaint websites. The truth is that everyone occasionally must deliver negative news in business, because bad news disappoints, irritates, and sometimes angers the receiver. Such messages must be written carefully. Learning how to do it with sensitivity and honesty will make the task easier for you as a writer and the experience less traumatic for the recipients of your messages.
Since most of us will be working in some type of customer service, there will be times when we have to tell the customer that a service is no longer being offered, or we may have to tell a job applicant that their service is not needed at this particular company. And even worse, maybe we'll be put in a position to where we may have to fire somebody that works for us. All of these are negative messages, and we have to construct these messages in a positive yet professional way.
If you recall from an earlier chapter, the direct approach opens with bad news, proceeds to the reasons for the situation or decision, offers an additional information that may help the audience, and ends with a positive statement aimed at maintaining a good relationship with the audience. In contrast, the indirect approach opens with a buffer, then builds up on the reasons behind the bad news before presenting the bad news itself. A buffer is a device to reduce shock or pain. To buffer the pain of bad news, begin with a neutral but meaningful statement that encourages the reader to continue reading. The buffer should be relevant and concise and provide a natural transition to the explanation that follows. The situation, of course, will help determine what you should put in the buffer. For example, avoid writing trite buffers such as "thank you for your email." There are 7 types of strategies that we can use for buffers. They are agreement, appreciation, fairness, good news, praise, resale, and understanding. For example, the strategy for agreement is where you find a point on which you and the reader share similar views. Appreciation is where you express sincere thanks for receiving something, and cooperation, where you convey your willingness to help in any way you realistically can. Fairness is where you assure the reader that you've closely examined and carefully considered the problem, or at least mention an appropriate action that has not or has already been taken. Then there's the good news. Start with the part of your message that is favorable. And there's praise. Find an attribute or an achievement or compliment, but don't create false hope that a positive message will follow. Then there's resale. Favorably discuss the product or company related to the subject of the letter. And finally, understanding. Demonstrate that you understand the reader's goals and needs. Apologies to customers are important if you or your company erred. They cost nothing, and they go a long way in soothing hard feelings. Some of the things that we need to point out when it comes to apologizing effectively in business messages is to make sure that you apologize promptly and sincerely, accept responsibility, and use good judgment. Let's look at a couple examples. First, we regret that you are unhappy with the price of frozen yogurt purchased at one of our self-service shops. Okay, that's direct, but it doesn't tell us a whole lot. Let's look at a better apology. We are genuinely sorry that you were disappointed in the price of frozen yogurt recently purchased at one of our self-serve scoop shops. Your opinion is important to us, and we appreciate your giving us the opportunity to look into the problem you describe. Okay, it gives us a little more detail on what the problem was. Let's look at another one. We are sorry that mistakes were made in filling your order. Okay, doesn't tell us a whole lot, but let's look at a better one. You are right to be concerned. We sincerely apologize for the mistakes we made in filling your order. To prevent reoccurrence of this problem, we are changing our tracking, and then you could go into just a little more detail at what you're going to do to better the situation. Both of these examples, we have gone into a little more detail and addressed the problem directly to the customer, letting the customer know that we heard their complaint and we're doing our best to try to fix the complaint. Morale can be destroyed when employees learn of major events affecting their jobs through the grapevine or from news accounts, rather than from management. When bad news must be delivered to individual employees, management may want to deliver the news personally. With large groups, however, this is generally impossible. Instead, organizations deliver bad news through multiple channels, ranging from hard copy memos to email. Such electronic messages can take the form of internet posts, professional emails, videos, webcasts, internal as well as external blogs, and even voicemail.
Another type of rejection that we need to be aware of is whenever we have to reject a job application. This is a type of a negative message. The applicant may have already interviewed for the company, but nevertheless, it's up to us to return some type of email or a letter, such as a correspondence, to let them know that we thank them for their application, but they're not needed at this particular time. One of the best ways to do this is by first addressing the person by their name, either first name or last name. It could be, "Thank you, Mr. Smith," or "Thank you, Carla." Then we can have the opening paragraph, something like, "Thank you for your application. You have some great experiences and we enjoyed talking to you. But unfortunately, we have selected another person at this particular time." Then we can have a concluding paragraph by saying, "We wish you the best in your future applications." And if you feel that you really liked that applicant, you can even tell them, "Please feel free to apply again for another position that you feel that you may be qualified." Either way, what we're doing is we're making it personal. We're showing professionalism, because remember, we're representing the company as well. And at least we have replied. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people that said they've applied for a position and never received a confirmation or a rejection. Obviously, if they didn't receive a confirmation, they didn't get the job. But still, it's professional to let the people know that, "Thank you for applying, but unfortunately, we don't have a position now."
For all the benefits they bring to business, social media and other communication technologies have created a major new challenge: responding to online rumors, false information, and attacks on companies' reputation. Customers who believe they have been treated unfairly like these sites and tools because they can use the public exposure as some type of leverage. Most companies appreciate that feedback too, and many actively seek out plans to improve their products and operations. However, false rumors and both fair and unfair criticisms can spread around the world in a matter of minutes. Responding to rumors and countering negative information require an ongoing effort and a case-by-case decision about which message requires a response. We need to make sure that we engage early and engage often. The most important step in responding to negative information has to be done before the negative information appears, and that it is to engage the communities and stakeholders of the long-term strategy. Also, monitor the conversation. If people are interested in what your company does, chances are they are blogging, tweeting, podcasting, posting videos, or talking about it on Facebook. And then evaluate the negative messages. When you encounter negative messages, resist the urge to fire back immediately. Study to find out what the people are saying and respond in a professional way. And this is done by responding appropriately and at the appropriate time. And finally, let's look at one example of writing negative messages by highlighting the positive. Besides saying, "We will no longer allow credit card purchases for gasoline," a better way of writing this could be, "We are now selling gasoline using cash only, but now at discount prices." Please go through the chapter and look at other ways to write these messages in a professional and business manner. But whatever you do, keep in mind that positive reputations are an important asset and need to be diligently guarded and defended. Everybody has a voice now, and some of those voices don't care to play by the rules of ethical communication.